Okay, we have another Trump assassination attempt to speak on, this one coming while he was doing his favorite hobby, playing golf. No shots were fired by the shooter this time, so Trump was never directly in threat as it was kind of thwarted before anything escalated to that level. However, what happened is while he was out there playing, Secret Service spotted a gun barrel in the bushes near the property line. The shooter fled once Secret Service opened fire, but pictures of his vehicle was taken, so he was pretty quickly found and detained just a short time later. The gun in question was an AK-47 style assault weapon, which is all the more reason that we need to bring back serious discussion and having these types of weapons banned. It's putting multiple people in the line of fire that don't need to be there, whether it be President Trump, whether it be innocent children at school, right? We know about the shooter that killed 4 at school with the AR-15. These kinds of weapons of war do not belong on the streets. And only one candidate is talking about doing that. So I think it's just more consideration for Kamala Harris. The suspect in question, however, is Ryan Routh, one of the two. He's a 58-year-old man who seemingly split his time between Hawaii and North Carolina. And because I know that the first thing MAGA is going to go to or care about is what is their political affiliation to try and make a conspiracy. I mean, do you remember, in the good old days when these things would happen and they were just condemned equally by both sides? And after every single tragic event, the first thing people did wasn't to just rush to try to connect it to one party or the other, and rather just realize that these are deranged individuals and they're not representative of an entire party either way. It's a huge problem in today's political atmosphere, and it only exacerbates issues like this even worse. But he does have a history of voting Republican. He publicly stated that he voted for Trump in 2016, voted Republican leaning at least in 2020. It's not exactly sure who and where he voted for. And he was publicly supportive of Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy this year when they were still in the race, before then eventually going ahead and voting in the Democratic primaries as he's been registered as unaffiliated. So what it seems is that he's a more Republican-minded voter who was kind of dissuaded by Trump and was going to vote against him, as, many Republicans currently are. Though again, I'm sure this turns to a conspiracy from MAGA about the Democrats, about how all Democrats want to do this, even though once they found out the last shooter was a Republican, there was no grand conspiracy against Republicans. But this is just kind of, again, where we are in this political atmosphere. What we know about him past that is that he's recently done travels to Ukraine, was a vocal supporter of them defending themselves, kind of echoing the Nikki Haley, Mitch McConnell perspective on the issue, however, rather than how Democrats posture on it. Investigation is still ongoing. He was pretty anti-Trump on social media, so I'm sure that the motive they find will be in relation to that, and we will be able to get more information this time, as obviously he was taken into custody alive. But it again just brings back the conversation of where the political climate is and how it's growing more divisive and thus dangerous for those within that. As Trump and Vance, for instance, continue these lies about Haitian immigrants eating our dogs, well, in the district where the Haitian population is heavy, 2 different schools have came under target of bomb threats, with the motives being directly tied to the claims that Trump and Vance were making. And with Republicans continuing to turn up this kind of incendiary rhetoric, continuing to propagate dangerous and fake stories about the side they don't like, it seems to be a sad reality that things like this will become more and more present. But I will end with, I'm glad that nobody was put in harm's way. I'm glad that Trump himself survived, and hopefully at some extent Republicans can realize the danger that their rhetoric is causing. Some Democrats as well. Democrats also need to cool it off a bit, but it's not really even a comparison between Democrats and what Republicans are doing. And instead of making conspiracies about things like this, I hope that we can start having talks about the real issue at hand, which is assault weapons being easily and readily available to lunatics who want to carry out things like this man.